Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Bender and this is my workout for today. Today I am doing a yoga, strengthening, and leaning workout, so it's going to really stretch out all of your muscles while also strengthening you at the same time. So let's get started. First I'm going to step to the front of my mat. I'm going to plant both of my feet on the floor, core pulls in tight to support my back, and I'm going to breathe up. Stretch backwards, keeping my hips still and stretching out, lifting my chest toward the ceiling as I reach behind me. Come up, exhale down. We're going to do this a couple times to get our muscles warmed up. Come up flat back and down. Breathe all the way up. Hands come to prayer position at the chest. I'll show you from the front this time. Breathe up. Hips stay still. Chest lifts toward the ceiling. Arms stretch out behind you. Then you're going to come forward. Open your arms. Swan dive down. Stretch out. Come up with a flat back. And when I mean flat back, I want you to have a really nice, no curve here. If that means you can only come to here, that's fine. If you could stretch further, just don't do this. You want it flat, okay? So come back down and then breathe all the way up. We're going to change it a little bit this time. So stretch back, exhale down, come up flat back, and you're going to reach behind you and grab your leg while you hold this position. Whoops, if you can. You should feel a really nice stretch in your hamstrings, so in the back of your thigh, and a little bit in your hip flexor. Pull it up, hold and breathe, and then you're going to slowly stretch it back down. Come down, come back up to the flat back position. Switch sides, so left hand and left foot this time. Pull it up until you feel a nice stretch in your hip flexor and your hamstrings. And I'm still trying to keep my back nice and flat. And slowly bring it down. Nice controlled movements. Stretch all the way back down. Come up, flat back. Exhale down. And we're going to step back to plank position. From this position, we're going to hold it for a second. Breathing here. Your back should be nice and flat. Nice line from your heels to the top of your head. Then we're going to rotate onto our left side. Stretch our arm up over our body. Hold this nice and strong in your pose. Always breathing. And then you're going to add the lift of the top leg if you can. If you can, it's okay. And breathe. Holding. Bring it down. You're going to step your foot forward in front of you. Your foot gets nice and flat, and you're going to lift your hip. You should feel a really nice stretch down the entire outside of your hip. Breathe and hold. We're going to drop it. Come back to our plank position. Hold it. Core engages and pulls in tight to support your back. We're going to go on to our right side this time. So come up, stretch out that arm, hold it here for a second. Breathing. And then you're going to add the lift of the top leg. And hold. I'm keeping my foot flexed. Bring it down. Step forward again and lift your hip. so you feel a nice stretch in the outside of your hip. Breathe. Bring it down, back to plank position. Hold it here. You're going to drop to your knees. Come up. We're going to lift both hands, and then one at a time bring them back toward your heel into Camel Pose. Hips press forward. Look behind you. Let go of your hands, and then come up from the power of your abdomen. From here, you're going to keep both knees planted. You're going to bring your hands down and slowly walk them forward, keeping your hips in the same position so that your chest comes to the ground. You should feel a really nice stretch here. Gaze can go forward. From here, we're going to come up, plant our hands beneath our shoulders, turn our toes under, lift our hips, and go into down dog position. So for this pose, you should be stretching your heels down toward the ground, your hips up to the ceiling, your hands push into the ground, so you're lifting from both your feet and your hands, making a nice upside down V shape. And then we're going to lightly pedal our feet, so bend your right, press your left heel down, and then switch. And you want this to be a nice slow motion, so you're really feeling the stretch in the whole backs of your legs. Still keep that back nice and flat. Bring it down, and we're going to look forward a little bit. Keep that position, but go down on your forearms. Lift your hips and stretch your heels toward the ground. It'll be a little more difficult this time. Come up to plank, lift to down dog. We're going to repeat that one more time. So we're going to stretch. We'll come down to plank, go onto our knees, walk our hands forward, bring your chest down to the ground. Stretch here, you should feel it in your back. Come up. We're going to go onto our forearms this time and lift into down dog. Look forward. Okay, come back to plank, hold it here. We're going to step to the outside of our hands. Keep your foot flexed, both hands on the inside of your feet, and while that foot stays flexed, you're going to stretch it out. You can even bring your knee down when you do this. And you should feel a nice stretch on the outside of your thigh and in your hip flexor. Hold it here and breathe. Bring it up. Straighten it out. Hold your position. Look forward. You can stretch your right arm forward. Stretch your left arm forward. Plant your left hand. Stretch up with your right. And switch sides. Stretch up with your left. Bring it down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So step back. Step your left foot forward to the outside of your hands. Keep your foot flexed. You can bend it out to the side, keeping your foot flexed the entire time. And then if you want, you can drop to your knee and keep pushing that knee outward gently. Breathe. Feel a nice stretch. Come back up onto that foot, lift. You can stretch forward with your right hand, stretch forward, reaching toward the wall with your left. We're going to turn in toward that leg, so stretching up with your left hand this time. And then other side, stretch up whoop, with your right. Bring it down, and we're going to sweep to the other side, stretching it up. Hold, and sweep backwards, stretching it up. Okay, we're going to come to the middle, straighten both of our legs, and once again we're going to do the flat back. So if you can reach the floor with your hands, that's fine. If you can't, you can bring them onto your hips. Just keep your back nice and flat. Stretch. Reach toward your toes if you can, and bring your head down toward the ground. Keep both legs nice and straight. Thighs should be engaged. Lift. Hands come to your hips and lift without pushing up off the floor. Okay guys, step forward. We're going to come to the front of our mats again. Breathe up. Exhale back. Breathe up, stand up tall. Exhale down. Come up. Flat back, breathing in. Exhale back down. Step back into a right lunge. Come up. Warrior one. Find your balance. Look up. Hold this pose. Relax your shoulders. They shouldn't be coming up into your ear. And if you can, you're going to take your left hand to the outside of your right leg and twist, reaching behind you. Both legs should stay strong and engaged the whole time. Back up, other side. So bring those arms down, come to your plank position. We're going to step forward with our left foot this time. Engage your legs, back leg is nice and straight. Lift, relax your shoulders, reach up to the sky. Hold this pose. And then if you can, right hand comes to the outside of your left knee, left thigh. Stretch back. Looking at your thumb. Bring it forward and back up. Arms come down, back to plank position. We're going to come back down onto those knees. Again, push your hips back and then walk your hands forward until your chest comes to the floor. And stretch it forward. Coming onto your elbows. Elbows should be beneath your shoulders. Look up. Gentle stretch for your low back. From here, if you can, bend your right foot and pull it in toward your body. And you can look behind you at your foot. Same thing on the other side. Left foot comes in, look behind you. Bring it back down. We're going to do the same thing with both feet this time, so bring them in. Grab both feet behind you. You don't have to look this time, but if you can, give it a nice little lift so that your knees lift and your chest lifts. Gaze can be straight ahead. Relax. Holding on still, we're going to go up one more time. Lift. Making sure you're breathing. And bring it back down. We're going to come back up to our plank. So this is a really good test for your core strength. Hands plant beneath your shoulders, core pulls in tight, and you should be able to lift your body all in one smooth motion. If you felt this, and you know that's a good sign you need to work on strengthening your core. We're going to step forward with our right into Pigeon Pose. Hands come to your hips. Focus on bringing both hip bones toward the floor, but having your weight evenly distributed. Look up. And again, we can do a twist here, so bring your hand to the outside of your thigh if you can, and stretch. We're going to lean forward over our leg, stretching out our IT band so you should feel it all over here. Breathe. Just try and relax here for a minute. Depending on how tight you are, it might not feel as relaxing, but it's really good for you. Just remember, when you're doing yoga or any type of stretches, it shouldn't hurt. You should feel a nice stretch. You should feel a challenge. But if you're feeling pain, ease up a little bit. You don't have to go that far into the pose. Okay, come up onto your toe. Bring your right foot back. We're going to bring your left foot forward. And again, bring that hip back. Press both hip bones toward the ground. Hands can come to your hips. Look up at the ceiling. Breathe. I'm going to bring my hand to the inside or outside of my thigh and stretch behind me. Come forward and slowly lean in over that leg. Try and keep your hips both evenly facing downward. So you don't want to roll out and have your hip facing up. You want them both facing down toward the ground. Breathe. Hands plant. Both feet come down. You're going to slow Chaturanga. Hold it. Come over to the tops of your toes. Keep your knees lifted. Look up to up dog. Turn over on those toes. Both heels stretch to the ground in down dog. You're going to look forward and then lightly step both feet forward. Bend forward, bringing your knees backwards, lifting your kneecaps with your thighs, and stretch. Come up flat back. We're going to do that stretch one more time, but we're going to alternate our arm and our foot this time. So right leg lifts, left hand touches, and if you could find your foot behind you, you're going to grab it. Feel a really nice hamstring stretch here. Bring it down, same thing on the other side. Left foot comes up. Right arm reaches and tries to find that foot. Pull it toward your butt until you feel a nice stretch in your hamstring. Bring it down. Come down toward those legs one more time. Flat back. Let's breathe all the way up. Exhale to center. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me for my workout today. I hope you feel like your whole body's loosened up. I know I'm really tight from doing some hard running workouts, which I will write about on my blog, benderfitness.com. So check that out. And again, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new workout.